You don't fail because you lack goals. You fail because you accept low standards. Every morning, you face a choice: master yourself or betray yourself. This isn't motivation, it's war. And the battlefield is your mind. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your standards. And if those standards are built on comfort, laziness, and cheap pleasures, then no matter how loudly you shout about your dreams, you'll never touch them. The harsh truth: most people lose their day the second they open their eyes. Not because life defeated them, but because they handed over their power. Before even getting out of bed, scream before sunlight, excuses before effort, distraction before direction. They don't live, they drift. And drifting is just a slow, cozy death. But you're not here to drift. You're here to dominate the day. Like a warrior, calm, focused, disciplined. Not because it's easy, but because you understand that the real war isn't outside, it's inside. The one who masters the day is the one who masters himself. Let's be clear, this is not motivation. This is war. And the battlefield is your own mind. Each morning, you have two choices: master yourself or betray yourself. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." You think freedom is doing what you want when you want. But true freedom is doing what needs to be done whether you feel like it or not. The weak are slaves to emotion. The strong obey reason. The Stoics didn't seek happiness, they sought command. Command over impulses, fears, cravings. Because they knew if you don't rule your mind will rule you. And an unruly mind is a tyrant. You wake up and don't feel like moving. Good. That's the resistance. That's the test. A Stoic doesn't act because it feels good, they act because it's necessary. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." The pain you feel, often it's not the act itself, but the dread, the delay, the noise in your mind whispering that you're too tired, too overwhelmed. But what happens when you rise anyway? When you act before your excuses catch up, you regain control, you reclaim your throne. That's how you conquer the day. You build momentum through defiance, not against others, but against the coward inside you. And trust me, you have to kill that coward every single day. This is the first rule of a Stoic day: discipline over desire. Desire is fleeting, discipline is forever. Each rep, each refusal to give in, it's building something, not just strength, character. And that character, it's what you'll lean on when the world falls apart, because it will, and you must be ready. After choosing discipline over comfort, action over excuses, what comes next isn't ease, it's challenge. And in those moments, you'll learn your greatest lesson: to do the hard thing, even when you don't want to. Do the hard things. Delay gratification, stare your own laziness in the face and say, no, because when chaos comes, and it will, you won't flinch. You won't collapse. You'll stand like a stone in a storm. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Yet every day, we waste hours obsessing over what we can't control: other people's opinions, the weather, traffic, the past, the outcome. And how little energy we give to what we can control: our breath, our attitude, our actions, our attention. Want to conquer the day? Shrink your world not in ambition, but in focus. Don't waste your fire on the uncontrollable. Channel it into what you can actually move. That's how a Stoic sharpens his edge. He doesn't try to control the wind, he adjusts his sail. This is the second rule of a Stoic day: control what you can, release the rest. Most people aren't exhausted from doing too much, they're exhausted from trying to control what they never could. They carry burdens that aren't theirs. They ruminate, gossip, and complain. You must be ruthless with what you let into your mental space. Your thoughts are your kingdom, guard them like a fortress, because once your attention is stolen, your power goes with it. That brings us to the third rule: protect your peace and prepare for war. There's a false belief that Stoics are emotionless, that they walk around like machines. But the truth is more profound. Stoics feel deeply, they just don't act from feeling. They act from reason, from virtue, courage, temperance, justice, wisdom. Not just words for calm days, but weapons for chaos. Because life will hit you, It will break your heart, steal your time, and betray your expectations. You will lose loved ones. You will fail. You will be tested when no one is watching. And in those moments, your library and your quotes won't matter. What will matter is how you've trained, not in public, but in private, when no one claps, when no one sees, when the only reward is that you didn't quit. That's when you become unshakable, not because you're numb, but because you've chosen strength over comfort so many times. It's no longer a choice, it's who you are. And that's the fourth rule. You don't negotiate with weakness, you train it out of you. Even when the alarm goes off in darkness, you move, because you know the journey is just beginning. You've chosen to train your strength, not negotiate with your weakness. And now, it's time to understand, training is not an option, it's an obligation. When you live with discipline, you don't ask how you feel. You don't wonder if it's fair. You simply do what needs to be done. Why? Because a life of virtue demands discomfort. The man who seeks comfort will always be owned by the man who seeks growth. And when you stop chasing the easy road, you begin forging the path of a warrior, one made of sweat, solitude, and silence. That silence is essential. Marcus Aurelius journaled in the early morning hours alone. No noise, no dopamine, no distraction, just facing himself. But today, how many people are terrified of silence? They run from stillness because in stillness, they hear the truth, and that truth haunts them. But the Stoic welcomes solitude, because solitude reveals the raw edges of their being, the parts that must be sharpened, the shadows that must be faced, the pain that must be transformed. And when you do this every single day, when you look yourself in the mirror and say, "Let's go to war," you start to respect yourself, not because you're perfect, but because you're honest. There's nothing more powerful than a person who sees their flaws and still chooses to move forward with purpose. That's rule 5. Start your day with yourself. End your day with reflection. Don't just wake up and exist. Wake up and build. Don't just fall asleep numb. Fall asleep wiser than you were at dawn. Ask yourself, where did I fall short? Where did I win today? What did I learn? That's how a Stoic grows. Not by chasing results, but by mastering the process. One sunrise at a time.